Hello, welcome to a short preview for the spring split of the LPL. I'm LinkingX2 and thank you for coming by. Today we will go into a few of the roster changes of the top LPL teams and I will give you all some power rankings as well. If you like the content you see, consider liking and subscribing. And before getting into it, some notes for two teams. Dominus Esports rebrands to the team TT. And VG Gaming rebrands to Rare Atom, so we have two newer teams. Also about the power ranking, obviously this is my opinion and it's based on the sum of all the players, which is not really what the team is all about, so keep that in mind as well. But taking an overall look at the top teams from last season. Starting with TES, we see absolutely no changes, which I quite like. Because why would you change a working concept? This working concept didn't really win worlds, but as we saw at the Master Cup, they're doing quite well again and overall their players are really good. So no changes here and they're keeping their S+ team level from last split. Moving right into the next team, JDG. Mystic joined, but Loken has not 100% left the team yet. Also, it's still rumored if Kanavi has extended his contract or not. Shia has joined from LGD, so it's quite likely that he will be the starting mid laner over Yagao. The team has upgraded in some positions as the bot lane and the mid lane. If they can keep Kanavi, it's an absolute upgrade for them. They keep their S- rank as well. Continuing with Suning, everyone knows Sword Art left, which is quite the blow to the team as he was quite important in their game plan and the following gameplay. The new support On is a very young player from their own youth and challenger team, so they should be a bit accustomed to him and he also knows how the team works a bit. Still, this is a downgrade, but it's not too bad for now. We have to see how it turns out, so they keep their high ranking of A+. Moving to LGD. Cult as a new top laner after LangX's departure. The jungle position is also not quite safe yet as Flora and Kui have played in the Demacia Cup, but replacing Peanut will be a very hard task for either of them. In the mid lane, Uniboy has joined for Xie and well, I think Uniboy is really good. The question about the language is still in the room and also Xie was playing quite well, so Uniboy, even though he's quite good, will be a slight downgrade individually and then again with the language for the team overall it will be a bit more tougher. Kramer has stayed after getting a better contract and leaving the team for some days. And lastly, Mark left and Peace, who is a JDG substitute, has joined in the support position. Overall, we have quite a lot of downgrades for the entire team, so they end up with a B- ranking. Continuing with Victory 5, LangX has joined for Bio in the top lane, keeping the mid laner as well as their superstar support in Pipigod. In the jungle they got Wei. They got him back, one has to say, because he was a substitute for Suning since May, so for around a couple months. Not really many changes, but some upgrades, still looks good. Maybe they don't face the world finalists in the quarterfinals this time and yeah, maybe they can do some more in this split. Overall getting a B+ ranking, mostly on the back of their support obviously. Coming to IG, there were some questions and a bit of drama in the jungle position. In the end, Ning became inactive and the new one, Xiang, is starting. He is a former substitute. And also there's a possibility of a new starting ADC with two new additions, but this wasn't really confirmed yet. So we are keeping Puff as you see on screen. Also they got a new coaching staff. Overall this is a small downgrade in the jungle position, but maybe he can surprise as again he's unproven as a substitute, so I have to rank him a bit lower than Ning, who was a world finalist MVP. So they're getting in the around A- rank. One would expect maybe a bit more from this team. But remember how last summer was, many of their superstars weren't playing on the top level, so I have to take a few points away in this department. Coming to the other world champion from China, FPX, only Nagori over Khan and Gimgun in the player change department. Noteworthy is that they got a new head coach in Stake, who is also an ex-LMS player from Flash Wolves, as was Warhorse. So this is obviously an upgrade, but keeping the core of the team. So yeah, around an A+ ranking, could be higher, but again, last split was not really theirs, and I can rank the players higher than what they did recently. Coming to WE, getting Curse, now renamed as Breath, in the top lane over Morgan, who now, as we know, with Hunger Life, keeping the jungler and the 2 mid laners as well as the bot lane. So we see no real great changes, maybe a small upgrade as Breath is Chinese and the language barrier that existed before is now non-existent. As well, we saw in the Demacia Cup that they got 2nd place, which is quite the improvement over their last split. Obviously, we have to note not every team was starting with their top roster, and most teams aren't really playing too well together yet, so we don't have to overhype WE here. Still, good performance for them, B+ ranking, and that's fine. Now, for all the League fans, 2 of the very popular teams, EDG for starters, Flandre over Audi in the top lane. I think that's a good upgrade here. Clearla's comeback into the jungle position. Yeah, you see the question marks. We don't really know how this is going yet. Clearla obviously was quite the good jungler in the past, but he's quite old now and has been on and off in the pro scene. So yeah, we are not really sure how this is going. Gory has joined in the mid lane. Remember, he's an old T1 mid lane substitute, but Scout and Meiko are still in the team. There are still some question marks in terms for their contracts, but as of now they have not left the team, so I assume Scout will stay in the mid lane position as well as Meiko. And lastly, getting Viper in the AD carry position from Hunger Life and previously Griffin obviously. These are quite good upgrades, I would say. Some moves are a bit questionable, especially the Clearlove one, but I am excited for a little bit of a resurgence from EDG. So they're getting a B ranking, which I think is quite fine. And of course, the other team that everyone knows, RNG, they also did quite a few interesting moves. Xiaohu, their mid laner, for like 5 or 6 years now, has moved into the top lane for Crying, who had joined the team a bit earlier, to stay in the mid lane now firmly, as they were swapping between them in the last split. In the jungle, they got the new addition in a way, but the later jungler XLB is still with the team, so maybe the starting jungler will be determined during the split. We have to note the Uzi era is now over, and yeah, we have to see how RNG will adapt to this after now about 8 years with him. It will be a bit hard, but I think some of the changes they made are quite good. If there are enough to enable them to rise to their old heights, is still up in the stars. I don't really think so, especially in comparison to how stacked other teams are, but it's quite an upgrade, and yeah, B- for them. Then lastly, some teams that are dark horses that might rise up in the rankings and got some noteworthy players. For BLG, they got Aiming from KT and Mark from LGD for the strong bot lane. Also Coach Kim, who was the coach for T1 last year, and obviously the coach with IG and Down1 Gaming. LNG getting Tarzan, the Griffin jungler, and Icon in the mid lane for a very strong mid jungle duo. And lastly, Rare Atom keeping iBoy and getting Fofo in the mid lane. So yeah, all of these 3 teams got some noteworthy upgrades and maybe surprise and upset the old top 8 teams. It seems that the top teams in the LPL are all mostly improving, shifting a few of the power levels here and there. But overall, the quality of the LPL is still very great, so we can expect an exciting season ahead of us. Thanks for watching though. In the playlist in the description below, you can find previous off-season content. Anyway, I hope you had a good time. If you did, please leave a like or comment about your predictions for the upcoming LPL split, and maybe if you're interested to see an overview for the other 6 LPL teams. That's it for now though. Please stay safe, have a good day, till next time. Bye.